It's just gone 7 on Monday morning and the start of a new school week for the 800 boys who live at Harrow.
Beginning of a day at a boarding school is like cranking a rusty old machine up, I think. It's wonderful, you know it's going to happen, and you're not quite sure on which turn of the wheel it's going to start.
All the youngest boys take it in turn to wake the rest of the house.
There are a few always good boys who are out of bed and at it already, but the average boy, of course, isn't very keen on getting up.
Morning, Sansati. Morning, Sansati.
For the 73 boys living in Morton's house, Monday is also laundry morning. First chore today is handing over their dirty washing to matron.
Have you got your duvet cover this week? Remember, if you have, mark yourself D for duvet. Pillowcases as well.
In each of the 11 boarding houses, it's the matron's job to take care of the boys' domestic side of life.
So I've got to be mum, and I think really that's true for all for matrons, to try to be mum as well as organiser. And I try to keep them clean, of course.
It's a big challenge for 13-year-old boys who arrive in a boarding school and cope with all the routine and the things that he has to understand. And it's a huge tribute to them that they nearly all manage very, very well. Nevertheless, there are a few who find it really pretty difficult. And it's that our challenge, I think, is to train them to get it better without it becoming too big an issue. And getting in the way of their happiness or their academic success.
Everything's fine except for the sock bag, because the sock bag, by the time they've all finished putting in, smells like very ripe gorgonzola.
10 to 8, and Housemaster Simon Berry's first chance to meet the boys. This daily ritual in each house ensures that all are present and correct.
Harmsworth, Lampitt, Masons, Morgan, Roberts, McGowan, Melvin, Slater, West, Bacon, Bismarck.
With strong military traditions, most boys join the school cadet corps. Between roll call and breakfast is sometimes the only opportunity to practice their drill.
By the front. Quick, Bart. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left.
Licking the new recruits into shape is the task of former Welsh Guardsman John Davis.
Left, right, left, right, left.
It might look as if it's a punishment getting up before breakfast to do drill, but a lot of them enjoy it, and it's better than lying in bed and messing about, isn't it?
Harrow's matrons are influential figures who monitor the boys' welfare. They play a motherly role in helping newcomers feel at home amid the rules and regulations of living together.
A lot of boys find the discipline and the rules over the top. And yes, they do come and talk to me, and we do tend to sit down and talk about it, discuss it, and hopefully try and take them through it. But there has to be rules, because otherwise you would just have a very unruly house.
For the new boys, known as shells, the first weeks are critical. As well as learning a new set of rules, they must try to make friends early on if they are to settle and establish themselves in boarding school life.
When you first arrive at the school, you have a very short time in which to get your status. Which group you gravitate towards in the first term really is important, and I gravitated towards nice, quiet people. Whereas I should have, if I wanted to be incredibly popular, I should have gravitated towards the kind of incredibly cool jet set.
Okay, read through quickly. Can we concentrate, please? It goes like this. Watson, you're meant to be watching and reading. Here we go. Multicellular organisms, including all plants and animals, can usually be thought of as organized on 4 increasingly complex levels, a sort of hierarchy of organization. Everyone appreciates what a hierarchy is. The school is basically a hierarchy of power. There are people like you, who at the moment are right down at the bottom, so you have very little power at the moment, but by the time you leave the school you'll have quite a lot more. Basically, as you get towards the top of that hierarchy, there is more and more power in the hands of the individuals concerned.
Generations of fathers and sons have followed each other to Harrow. Peter Stevens' family have been coming here for 150 years, but for Peter himself it's a first taste of boarding school life. 17-year-old Ben Irwin Clark has been at boarding school for more than half his life.
I've been boarding since I was 8, and obviously it comes as quite a shock to the system when you first start, but I don't hold it against my parents.
I think whenever you go away from home, it's tough, but we need to remember that adolescence is a passage from being a dependent child to being an independent adult, and going away from home perhaps hastens that process.
While the boys are having lessons, matron Maureen Bone is carrying out her daily inspection of their rooms.
Little tidy. Hasn't had time to make his bed yet. There are some rooms that you walk into, it looks like a bomb site. So matron leaves little notices, and they're soon tidy up, believe you me. Cardboard boxes are not allowed in rooms. They attract the dust. I shall leave him a little note. It isn't a hotel, and they don't come expecting that it's going to be a hotel. They've had pre-warning. And some of the smells in the house are pretty bad. Bums and bosoms. No full frontals, I don't allow those. It looks alright. No, I don't like that one.
Even in their rooms, the boys' privacy is limited. There are no locks on the door to deter matron's attention.
They can have a little note from matron. They've got to realise that I am here to help them and that I'm not a dragon. There's quite a conception, particularly among people who've read books about boarding schools and matrons, that matron's going to be a dragon.
Teenagers are difficult. I mean, I don't have to deal with their laundry, but you could argue the problems I have to deal with are even worse because you can't put them in the washing machine. Which at least she can. She can tidy their room for them. She can pick up their laundry, and she can force pills down their throats, more or less. But teenage kids are difficult, which is of course one reason that parents send them to us, I think.
In Drury's house, matron is having one of her motherly chats with her new boys.
It's important that you do regularly shower, always after games, at least once a day. Wash your hair at least a couple of times a week. Change your clothes regularly. It's very important to clean your teeth after breakfast and before you go to bed. If you've got a problem, I am very approachable, and anything really personal, you come in to my flat, the door gets closed, and what we talk about is just between you and I, whether it's homesickness or anything. If you just fancy a chat, you can come in and say, can I put the kettle on and make me a cup of tea? Alright?
Harrow maintains that boarding education is about learning how to use your time. Leisure activities are considered almost as important as lessons.
All the boys have been saying that you've got to do as much as you can at the school and just do as many of the activities you possibly can. Because then, if you find something and you'll be good at it, I mean, there's one thing that everyone's good at, and if you're going to find it, and this is what the school is for.
I think what we have to do is to make sure that a boy who isn't yet fully settled doesn't allow that to become a preoccupation. that we make sure that he involves himself with lots of activities, he involves himself with other people in the year group, he opens lines of communication, he gets to know people, allows people to get to know him, and remains part of the team. For some it takes a while.
A favourite playground activity is called bum, B-U-M. It's scary and painful, but even the victims enjoy the forfeits involved in this traditional Harrovian ball game. To keep up with the latest Harrow fashion, once a week the mobile barber shop comes to the hill.
This haircut with the quest is the most commonest. I mean, quite a lot of people at the school have the high quest, don't they, Carl?
Yeah.
With it sort of flying in the air. I mean, if you walk down the street and look at the Herodians, they've all got their hair. So I change. I like my hair. Love it.
Do you want to spray them?
Yeah.
Okay, chaps. 5:49. 11 minutes. Let's go. Okay. Good luck.
This afternoon is the inter-house cross-country competition. All the boys are expected to take part and will run 3.5 miles across the fields, unless they're lucky enough to have a sick note from matron.
How is it today? It's feeling a lot better now. Good.
Have you? Sit down, Joe. How long have you had it?
It came in like my friend in just after break. I was like quite hot. I went outside for a bit and that's still there.
Have you got a temperature, do you think?
No, I don't. Yeah, I might check it, but I don't think I have.
It's ideal cross-country weather. Cold, wet, muddy.
Straight down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Okay. Come back at supper time.
Okay.
If you've still got that. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
It's all confidence. That's what a boy needs. So you can then build on his talents, however small. And you can, of course, arrange a bit for some people to come in and build those talents and tell him how good he is at something, and even if it's slightly artificial, just to give a base that we can then build on.
B12. I mean, if they're going to come out, boys like to compete. They have a competitive instinct. And it's surprising how well even the not so great runners can do if they feel they're part of a team.
It's knackering, especially on days like this. It's just complete fag. We just want to be inside watching TV. It's cold, it's long, it's slippery. Don't like long distance.
Harrow's definitely made me more resilient to things. You kind of develop a shell, a bit of a kind of a harder skin, a bit of a thicker skin really. If I'd been at home, then I might well have not been able to put up with some of the things that it's necessary to put up with at school. And I'm not talking about the way the school treats you, but the way the other people in the school might treat you, whatever. Because not everyone here is as sensitive and loving and lovely as my family is.
When I first came, I had to learn how to take a joke. Was one of my first things. You know, if anybody called me a name or said something to me, I used to lash out. So learning how to take a joke was a big thing, and I think I did it quite well, because now if anybody calls me a name, I'll just laugh at them.
Is Chinadu there?
After supper, any boys with disciplinary problems must see their housemaster with their daily report.
Communication lesson must speak. Tuesday talks too much. So biology you don't talk enough, and maths you talk too much.
I don't think I talk too much. It's just he thinks every time he looks around I'm talking, but I don't really talk that much. So,
good.
So can I have definition to go downtown tomorrow?
For what?
Well, my mum's put a check in the post, sir.
Has she?
Yes, sir. What she
Very
said,
nice,
yeah.
sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, well, you'll need to get a chit
Okay.
if it comes, yeah. Okay. All right, good.
Thanks, sir.
Could you see if Chinnadu's around and kick him in my direction with his daily report?
Yes, sir.
David Ellery has suddenly been called away. There's been an accident on the high street with one of the new boys and a cyclist. Injuries are slight, but the cyclist needs a hospital checkup.
I think what's happened here tonight just demonstrates how all the housemasters one moment can be dealing with something very minor. I was dealing with the boys' mathematics not being very good, and then the phone call comes and you're then involved in something at the other end, and it can be serious, it can be not too serious as in this case, but I think it just demonstrates how when you're in a boarding school you are involved in every aspect of the boys' lives 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you have to be prepared to deal with anything from the small to the major.
The boys do prep or homework in their rooms between 7:30 and 9 in the evening. Afterwards they can relax before the new boys go to bed at 9:45 and the seniors by 11 o'clock.
I think people are mistaken if they think that because boys have come away to Harrow, they've lost the family. They're not emotionally cut off. The idea they have no support, no substitute family is actually a major misconception. And often boys will make friends at boarding school who become lifelong friends. We know very well that very often we sometimes share our deepest thoughts, our closest thoughts, not with our parents, but with our friends.
I think that it boosts your character and it makes you a better person, I think. But some people were born to board, some people shouldn't board. So I hope that no one ever gets all the way round.
I like the way that the system changes you in most cases. Some people come out of public school a bit messed up. But yeah, I like what school's done for me, and I'd like the same to happen to any son of mine.
But being a boys' school, you get boys will be boys. And boys with their toys, I suppose. Everybody's just on for a really good laugh, mucking around, playing games down. We can just go absolutely wild to a certain extent, and you don't get to do that out of a boarding school.
One of the last to bed is head of house, Charlie, whose job it is to make sure all the boys are tucked up.
Lights up, please, man. Since we live together, we get to work and play together, which is fantastic.